So this happened a couple days ago, but I feel like we need to talk about this because this is just insane to me. I don't think the viewers of these creators understand what they're actually doing to these creators mentally, but it seems like they're kind of putting the creators into this mental prison. So what happened, you may ask? Well, a massive creator by the name of G Nelly had a birthday party the other day and invited a bunch of creators over to a bowling alley. That apparently started a massive outrage on Twitter because she legally celebrated her birthday. She didn't break a single law nor rule, but apparently if you're a YouTuber in 2021, you cannot celebrate your birthday without getting any backlash, even if you're following every rule and law. And this is very different from the Hollywood Hills parties that we saw influencers throw at the start of 2020. Number one, they were illegal. And number two, we had very little information about what this illness actually is and how it spreads. Now things are a lot more different because now we have the ability to get tested every single day if we wanted to. And at least in the UK, everyone can get a vaccine if you want one. So let's put ourselves in G Nelly's shoes for a second here. You've been locked inside for the last year and a half, like pretty much everyone else in the world. You probably couldn't celebrate your 25th birthday, which is a massive milestone in life. So the next year comes around and it's now legal to socialize and gather. So she rents out a bowling alley and invites over a bunch of friends to celebrate her 26th birthday. Everyone who went there was tested before they came, and most everyone there was vaccinated. So everything was fine until Twitter had a massive problem with it and thought this was extremely problematic. So essentially you have a bunch of miserable people on Twitter who see someone happy and thriving. They're like, no, back to isolation. I'd say that's pretty hypocritical from a group who constantly preaches about mental health awareness. And it's all because they're popular creators. Like if they were not internet famous, no one would care. Because at the same time this party was going on, you had a full football stadium and pretty much every club nearby was jammed. I don't think the people who are attacking G Nelly and the other creators who actually went to this party understand that these people are also normal people. Their job just happens to be YouTube. No normal person knows how to react to when hundreds of thousands of people are attacking them on the internet for simply celebrating their birthday. It would be different if it was illegal to do so, but everything about that event was legal. I just thought this was insane and I was surprised on how many people were attacking them. But G Nelly responded to all this in a twit longer that says this: my party, read. I genuinely never wanted to upset or harm people and I'm sorry I've done that. Please know that everything at my party was within the UK government guidelines. We're fortunate enough that 80% of the UK is currently vaccinated. We're also very fortunate to be able to test daily here in the UK, with people attending completing a negative lateral flow test beforehand and everyone will be tested after. It was a private small bowling alley of close friends with no public interaction to ensure that we were as safe as possible. Again, I'm sorry for upsetting anyone. This seems completely fine. And then she follows that tweet up by saying, also, if I can ask one thing, like, I don't mind you not liking me or being angry at me, but please don't tag me in side posts. I lost my dad to and it's something really triggering for me, so please stop. People are so upset with her for just celebrating being on the planet for 26 years that they're tagging her in that. Doesn't make sense, but it gets so much worse from here because, hey, Memulus replied, Twitter is so odd. People are only pretending to care about this as an excuse to abuse people. Like if they actually cared about this, they'd be talking about clubs and festivals, not a small gathering at a bowling alley of people who are mostly double vaxxed. Hope you're okay. Also, pretty much every single person invited there, they were YouTube creators where their entire job is isolating themselves. But then Dream responds to Memulus by whipping out his soapbox to be the really high and mighty guy and just throw all of his friends under the bus. But his response was, people need to not be gross. Have seen way too much horrible stuff about it all, but... And then here's like a friggin' tweet longer. Although I do agree that people are blowing things out of proportion and being abusive and gross when they don't have to be, just to correct potential misinformation, people with vaccines have a much more viral loads and can still spread the virus to other people that aren't vaccinated and may be even more likely to. Even one person getting the virus/Delta variant will spread the virus to on average 6 to 7 people, who will then spread it to 6 to 7 people and so on, quickly shooting up to thousands from just one case. And who knows who can be in those thousands, elderly, etc. Inside, the virus spreads worse. Without a mask, the virus spreads worse. And the longer you are close to people with the virus, spreads worse. If everyone was tested before and after, like G said, there is no problem. And there's a very responsible way of doing that with little to no risk. People are making a much bigger deal out of it than they should though, either way, and using it as an excuse to attack people. Don't want to see any of that gross stuff or see people support it. Bro, you're a Minecraft YouTuber. Since when did you become a virologist? Congratulations, Dream. You've now basically put 1 million more eyes on something that's basically a nothing burger. Where was this energy when all the boxing matches were happening? And now because of this, a bunch of the creators who went to this party are now apologizing for leaving their house, even though everyone was apparently tested before they went to the party. And like I said earlier, they're all YouTubers where basically your entire job is isolating yourself. It's genuinely one of the most lonely jobs you can have, and stuff like this does not help at all. But I actually have multiple friends who went to the party, so I thought, hey, might as well ask one of them how dangerous of a party this was. Hey, what's up, Alex? Thank you for joining me for a quick interview. I saw that you went to one of the most infectious and worst places to ever go to in the world. You probably put 1 million people in danger.
Yeah, Australia, mate. I flew all the way to Australia. That's what I did. Yeah, I'm absolutely blown away, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, with the last week. Talk about blowing something out of proportion.
That's really what it seems like. So I just wanted to ask, like, when did you find out that everything went crazy on Twitter? Were you guys at the party? Did it ruin the party? Or like,
no, because like, this is the thing. We only found out the party was kind of like, I don't know, a controversial thing when I woke up 5 a.m. the next day and I saw everything on Twitter, and I was amazed. I thought something had happened. I thought somebody had like chinned somebody and I'd missed it.
But no, they were just reacting to you guys just simply being
outside, like being outside of the apartments or wherever everybody lives, but not specifically us, but just the Minecraft YouTubers. My audience didn't give a about it because I've been, going to Chelsea games and all that, and been to Wembley and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like, where was this energy when all the boxing matches were going on literally just weeks ago?
I don't know.
It seems very selective on who they try to cancel, and for really no reason.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't make sense.
People kept on saying that it wasn't to cancel people, they just wanted to hold people responsible. But I was like, hold people responsible for what? That's the thing I don't understand. And people keep saying, well, being unsafe. And I keep on going, but everybody's double vaccinated and most of my country's vaccinated. And if they aren't, then that's on them. And then you carry on with life as normal, isn't that? That's the aim, right? That's why restrictions have been lifted. Restrictions have been lifted here, but I think a lot of people were American, so they just didn't get it.
Well, yeah, but what's weird here is like most restrictions here are completely fine. The only places where there's like heavy restrictions, to my knowledge, are New York City and California.
I don't understand it.
I don't really know. It was really weird, and that's why I was like very surprised that like no one reacted at the boxing matches that were just now. Like Logan fought Floyd Mayweather like a month ago, and then the whole social gloves was also roughly a month ago.
Because George Not Found wasn't there.
Okay, so it was simply just because there was Minecraft YouTubers there that Minecraft Twitter just had an aneurysm.
That's the only reason. I'm telling you now, if the Minecraft YouTubers weren't there, nobody would even have batted an eye. Like 100%. Like none of the Sidemen audience gonna give a about that. None of my audience is going to care about that because of the fact that there's nothing to care about. It's not even the fact that like, oh, you could argue that it's slightly wrong. There's literally nothing to care about. And that's the thing I don't understand. And that's why I was so amazed by it.
If I could ask one last question, what was your reaction when Dream decided to come out of the cut and just pretend to be a virologist?
Well, it's like, I could see what he was trying to do, and I appreciate it on a certain standpoint that he was like just trying to quell both sides of this argument. My problem with the whole thing, I mean, you can see my tweets, is I was like, I would kind of understand it, but playing the whole, well, maybe you guys have done something wrong, but maybe the abuse that people are getting and the threats are wrong as well, is not fine because none of us had done anything wrong. And that was what really annoyed me, because it was like, hang on, I'm not willing to take the, maybe you guys did something wrong and maybe they did something wrong. No, the Minecraft kids who were telling people to themselves on Twitter and still are sending me abuse, like loads of homophobic abuse, that's completely wrong. That's not acceptable at all with 20,000 people. Me going out and doing what everybody in my country is doing, that is not wrong. So I wasn't really happy with that because I was like, okay, I can see that he's trying to make it better, but I was like, I don't feel like I need to like take some sort of L on this or like slightly apologize because I didn't do anything wrong. I've been going out for months now, Erling. I've been going out for months. So is everybody here because the restrictions are lifted, and there's and do you know what, that sentence should everything. The restrictions are lifted, and that's it. There's nothing else to add. It blows my mind.
It's baffling. No, all of this is literally just stemming from a bunch of creators getting together to celebrate someone's 26th birthday. And because of that, you guys are getting a whole bunch of abuse online.
I feel bad for my friends who apologized, you know, because a lot of them said sorry.
Yeah, and I feel like they're being held, like, they're in this, like, mental prison from, I guess, between what their job is and their viewers, because they love their job, obviously, and their entire job is isolating themselves. And then if they want to go out and meet friends,
they're probably
they get held from it.
They're probably looking at it and going, oh, we don't really have to go out at all. But that's really sad that seems to be the kind of take that those guys have been forced into, because nobody should be forced to stay inside anymore because there isn't a lockdown. If there was a lockdown, I completely get it. Because the thing is, I understand the Minecraft kids were trying to do something good. They were trying to make sure that, you know, there was, you know, people were looking after themselves and that it wasn't going to get any worse. But it seemed like there was a complete lack of education and or understanding with just the way that it is in my country at the moment, because not everywhere is the same. And to be absolutely lampooned for doing something that all my friends at that were also out clubbing that night, my friends who aren't YouTubers, and I can tell you that 25,000 people weren't telling them to off because they were in a packed club. And the problem is as well is, like, we weren't even in a packed club. And I think that's the thing that upsets me the most, is even there could have been 500 people there, but there wasn't. It was about 55 of us, and we were spread out across an entire bowling alley that we'd booked out. It couldn't have been more safer way of meeting up with people. It was way safer than when I went to the football. When I went to the football, I was crammed in with 42,000 people, you know, but I had work there. So it's really strange to me that the one time we go out of our way, especially just to make sure that everything is perfectly fine, that's when people kick off. But it's because it reached a whole new group of people who obviously are not living in my world and not living in the real world. And that's frankly it. I think the reason why there is a problem is because what you've had is you've had two completely different worlds collide. I'm living in the real one where people have to get back to work. My mum has gone back to work yesterday. She's working in an office again. I spat on her when she told me. There is a big difference. I get it. You know, if you isolate all the time as well, if you were isolating pre-pandemic and you weren't going out with your mates, then you probably like, how dare people go out with anybody anyway? I wouldn't even enjoy doing that. You know, some people have to go back and live their lives.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on, answering a couple questions. If you guys want to follow Alex, his links will be down in the description down below. But that was someone's side of the story who was actually there. Again, I thought everything is just being completely blown out of proportion. I feel sorry for all the YouTubers who went there, and especially G, who just wanted to celebrate her birthday. And it's crazy that people have to apologize for celebrating someone's birthday. That's not going to make people want to go out again. That's kind of just forcing people to isolate just because they're relevant online. Meanwhile, people who are not relevant, they can go out and have the time of their lives without getting any backlash. But other than that, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Don't lampoon people for simply leaving the house. And if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like on it. If you're new here, I welcome you to my channel. It'd be awesome if you subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.